I was standing in my own living room, watching my husband, with his arm around another woman. She was beautiful, confident, smiling at me like she'd already won. "Honey," my husband said casually, "this is Jessica. She's going to be staying with us for a while." I stared at him, at her, at the suitcases by the door. "Excuse me," I managed to say. That's when the front door burst open. A man I'd never seen before stormed in, face red, fists clenched. "Jessica," he roared. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" And that's when I realized this wasn't what I thought it was at all, but what led to that moment in the next 72 hours. I watched my marriage get stolen, piece by piece. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Naomi Grant. I'm 32 years old, and up until 3 days ago, I thought I had a pretty solid marriage. My husband Ryan and I have been together for 8 years, married for 5. We met at a friend's wedding, hit it off immediately, and just clicked. He's a sales manager at a pharmaceutical company. I'm a graphic designer. Mostly freelance, working from home. We have a nice house in the suburbs outside Charlotte, 2 cars, a golden retriever named Biscuit, the whole picture-perfect life. I didn't know it yet, but that life was about to implode. Things had been a little off lately, I'll admit. Ryan had been working late more often, taking calls in the other room, being vague about his schedule. And here's the thing that haunted me most. For months, I felt like I was talking to his back. He was always turned away, always distracted, always somewhere else. Classic cheating signs, right? But I trusted him. We'd always been honest with each other. I should have trusted my gut instead. So when he came home last Tuesday and said, "Honey, we need to talk," I thought maybe he was stressed about work. Maybe he wanted to plan a vacation. I was so naive. "I invited someone to stay with us for a while," he said, sitting down across from me at the kitchen table. "Oh," I said, "who, your brother, your mom?" "No, a woman from work. Her name is Jessica." The air left the room. "A woman from work," I repeated slowly. "Yeah, look, something happened today. Her landlord illegally locked her out of her apartment, like, changed the locks while she was at work. She can't get her stuff. She has nowhere to stay tonight, and HR is involved. It's a whole crisis." That made it harder to say no. He knew that. "So you invited her here?" I asked carefully. "Just for a few days, a week max. Until she figures out the legal stuff with her landlord and finds a new place." My brain was trying to process this. "Ryan, I don't even know this woman." "I know, but she's a colleague, and she's in a bad situation. You're always so compassionate. I thought you'd understand." He had no idea what he was about to do to us. "Can't she stay with family, friends?" "Her family's in California, her friends. Her husband poisoned them all against her. She's got nobody, Naomi. I'm asking you, as my wife, to help me help someone in need." When he put it like that, what could I say? "How long?" I asked. "A week, 2 at most. 2 weeks maximum," I said firmly. "And then she finds somewhere else." "Deal." He kissed me on the forehead. "Thank you, you're amazing." That should have been my first warning sign. He seemed too relieved. "I'm picking her up tomorrow after work," he said. And he walked out of the kitchen, leaving me sitting there with a bad feeling I couldn't shake. What I didn't know was, Jessica had been planning this for weeks. That night, we barely spoke. The tension was there, hanging between us. The next morning, he left early, didn't even say goodbye. I called my best friend Shanice. "He did what?" she said when I told her. "He invited a woman from his work to stay with us. Her landlord locked her out." "And you said yes?" What was I supposed to say? He made it sound like an emergency, like I'd be heartless if I said no. "Naomi, you need to set boundaries, day one. Make it clear this is temporary." "I will." But I didn't know how to set boundaries with someone I hadn't even met yet. I spent the whole day anxious, pacing, trying to work and failing. At 4 p.m. I heard Ryan's car pull into the driveway. I took a deep breath and walked to the front door. What happened next? I should have seen it coming. Ryan came in first, carrying 2 large suitcases. 2 weeks of clothes doesn't need 2 large suitcases. Then she walked in. Jessica, she was stunning, early 30s, long blonde hair, perfect makeup, designer clothes. She looked like she'd stepped out of a magazine. And she was smiling at me, but there was something in her eyes, something cold. "You must be Naomi," she said brightly, looking me up and down. "Oh, you're prettier than he said." She paused just long enough to make it weird. Then smiled wider. Thank you so much for letting me stay here. You're a lifesaver. I looked at Ryan. He was avoiding my eyes. Of course, I said carefully. Happy to help. I would regret those words for the rest of my life. I'll put these in the guest room, Ryan said. Heading upstairs with the suitcases, Jessica and I stood in the entryway. Biscuit came trotting over to investigate. He always greets guests, tail wagging, friendly, happy. But when he got close to Jessica, he stopped, stayed behind my legs, and growled low and warning. I'd never heard him do that before. Oh, Jessica said, looking down at him. Not a dog person, I guess. She stepped around him. Into my house? This is such a beautiful place, she said, looking around. You guys have done so well for yourselves. Then she touched the wall, ran her fingers along it like she was already claiming it. Ryan came back downstairs. All set, Jessica, let me show you around. And he proceeded to give her a full tour of our house, showing her where everything was, the bathroom, the kitchen, the laundry room, making her feel at home. I followed behind them. Biscuit pressed against my leg, and I had no idea how much worse it was about to get. That first night was awkward beyond belief. Jessica insisted on cooking dinner for us. As a thank you, she made this elaborate pasta dish. Moved around our kitchen like she owned it. But here's what I noticed. Little things that made my skin crawl. She opened drawers without asking where things were, like she already knew. She used my favorite wooden spoon, the one I'd had for years, and when she plated the food, she gave Ryan the biggest portion, put it in front of him with a smile, gave me the smallest. Ryan didn't even notice. And Ryan, he was different around her. More animated, more attentive. He kept refilling her wine glass, asking her questions about herself, touching her arm when he talked. I sat at my own dining table, feeling like a third wheel. So Naomi, Jessica said at one point, Ryan tells me you're a graphic designer. That must be so creative and fun. It is, I said. I could never do that. I'm terrible at art, but I'm great with people. So sales works for me, she smiled at Ryan. That's how Ryan and I became such good friends at work. We just get each other, you know? Then she said it, so casual, so deliberate. Right, babe, she called him babe. Ryan's eyes went wide. Oh, that's just a work thing. Everyone calls each other that. Jessica laughed. Sorry, force of habit, don't want to make things weird. But she was looking right at me when she said it, smiling. I wanted to scream. After dinner, Jessica offered to clean up. You two relax, you've done so much for me. Ryan and I went to the living room. I waited until Jessica was in the kitchen. Then I turned to him. What the hell was that? I whispered. What do you mean? She called you babe in front of me. It's a work thing. No, it's not. And you're acting different around her. I'm being friendly, Naomi. She's going through a crisis. She doesn't act like someone in crisis. She acts like someone on vacation. You're reading into things? Am I? Because from where I'm sitting, she seems very comfortable here. Too comfortable, he sighed. Can you please just be nice to her for 1 week? That's all I'm asking. I wish I'd known then what was about to happen next. Jessica poked her head into the living room. Everything okay? Perfect, Ryan said, smiling at her. Just talking about what movie to watch. Any preferences? I'm easy, she said. Whatever you guys want. We ended up watching some action movie. And then Jessica did something that made my blood run cold. She sat between us on the couch, between us, in our own house. She kept making comments, leaning over to whisper things to Ryan, laughing at one point. I got up to get water when I came back. She'd moved closer to him. Their thighs were touching. Ryan didn't move away. I went to bed early, couldn't take it anymore. Ryan didn't come up for another hour when he finally did. He didn't apologize, didn't acknowledge how weird everything was. He just got into bed, said goodnight, and went to sleep. I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, wondering what the hell was happening to my marriage. I didn't sleep that night because I kept thinking about something I'd seen. Jessica's phone, sitting on the counter while she cooked. The lock screen had a photo, her and Ryan at what looked like a work event, but they were standing very, very close, and the timestamp on the photo was from 2 months ago, 2 months before the landlord crisis, before any of this started. Day 2 was worse, so much worse. I woke up to the sound of laughter downstairs, Ryan and Jessica making breakfast together when I came down. They were both in pajamas, cooking pancakes, moving around the kitchen like a well-choreographed team. But here's what made me sick. Jessica was wearing my robe, the silk one Ryan had bought me for our anniversary. Morning, sleepyhead, Jessica said. We made breakfast, hope you're hungry. Is that my robe? I asked. She looked down. Oh yeah, I couldn't find mine this morning and I was cold. Ryan said it was fine, you don't mind. Do you? She looked at Ryan, he looked at me. I figured it was okay, he said. She was cold. Right, I said quietly. Of course. Jessica smiled, kept cooking, kept wearing my robe like she belonged there. After breakfast, Ryan left for work. Kissed Jessica on the cheek goodbye, kissed Emmy on the forehead, different kisses. I noticed. Jessica stayed home, she didn't have work. Taking personal days to deal with the apartment situation, she said. So, she said. Sitting across from me in the living room. What do you usually do all day? I work, I said. From home, graphic design. Oh right, can I watch? I'd love to see your process. I usually work alone. It helps me concentrate. No problem, I'll just hang out down here. Then she picked up my favorite mug, the one that says, but first, coffee. Ryan had given it to me on our first date. She poured herself coffee into it. Curled up on my couch, made herself completely at home. I went up to my office and tried to work, but I couldn't focus. Because I kept thinking, this woman is taking over my life piece by piece, and Ryan is letting her. Around noon, my phone rang, unknown number. Hello? Is this Naomi Grant? A man's voice, rough, angry. Yes, who's this? My name is Derek Matthews, I'm Jessica's husband. My stomach dropped and what he told me next changed everything. Oh, is she there, at your house? Yes, she's staying with us temporarily, her landlord. There is no landlord, Derek said flatly. There's no locked apartment, there's no crisis, that's her story. She uses it every time. Every time? Yeah, let me guess. She told you I'm controlling, abusive, that I poison her friends against her. I didn't answer, thought so. Look, I don't know what she's told you. But my wife is a liar and a manipulator. She's done this before, 3 times that I know of. Moves in with some guy from work, plays the victim, seduces him, destroys his marriage or relationship. Then comes home like nothing happened. That's insane. It is, but it's true. Just watch your husband, Derek said. Watch him closely because Jessica doesn't have female friends, she has targets. And if your husband invited her to move in, he's already halfway gone. He hung up. I sat there, phone in my hand, heart racing. Was he telling the truth or was he exactly what Jessica said? A controlling, jealous ex trying to manipulate me? I didn't know, but I was about to find out. That evening, Ryan came home with flowers for Jessica, not for me, for her. Thought these might cheer you up, he said, handing her a bouquet of roses. I know this whole apartment situation is stressful. She lit up. Ryan, you're so thoughtful, thank you. She kissed him on the cheek, held it just a second too long. He blushed. I was standing right there, watching my husband give another woman roses in our house. Ryan, I said quietly, can I talk to you upstairs? Sure, just let me, now. He followed me up to our bedroom. I closed the door. You brought her flowers, I said. Ryan, you haven't brought Emmy flowers in 6 months. And you bring flowers to the woman who's living in our house? It was just a nice gesture. It was a romantic gesture. No, it wasn't. You're reading into things? Am I? Because from where I'm standing, you're treating her like she's your girlfriend, and I'm just here. That's ridiculous. Is it? You cook with her, you laugh with her, you buy her gifts. You let her wear my clothes. When's the last time you did any of that for me? He was quiet, and in that silence, I knew I was losing him. Her husband called me today, I said. Ryan's face changed. Derek called you? Yeah. He said there's no landlord crisis. He said Jessica does this, that she's done it 3 times before, that she finds married men and destroys their relationships. Derek is psychotic, Ryan said immediately. You can't believe anything he says. The guy stalks her, Naomi. She had to get a restraining order. Did she tell you that? Why would she lie? Why would he? Because he's abusive and controlling and he can't stand that she's finally free. You're defending her, I said quietly. Over me, you're defending a woman you've known for what? A few months. Over your wife? I'm not. There was a knock on the door. Jessica's voice, soft and concerned. Is everything okay? I heard yelling. Ryan opened the door. We're fine, just a discussion. Okay, she said, but before she left. She looked at me and she smiled, just a little, like she was winning, and that's when I knew for sure. Derek was right. Jessica wasn't a victim, she was a predator, and she was hunting my husband. What I didn't know yet was just how far she was willing to go. Day 3, this morning, the worst day of my life, I woke up to an empty bed. Ryan was already downstairs again when I went down. Ryan and Jessica were sitting close together on the couch, looking at something on his phone, too close. Morning, I said. They both jumped apart, guilty. Morning, Jessica said brightly. We were just looking at apartments for me. Ryan's been so helpful. Great, I said. When are you moving out? The smile faltered on her face. Well, I haven't found the right place yet. Everything's so expensive. And with the legal fees from the landlord situation, how long have you been looking? 3 days, Naomi, Ryan said, warning in his voice. No, Ryan, I'm done. This isn't working. Jessica needs to leave. Jessica's eyes filled with tears. Perfect. On command. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cause problems. I have nowhere else to go. My landlord still won't let me get my stuff. And I don't have money for a hotel while I'm paying a lawyer. There are shelters, I said, friends, family. Literally anywhere but here. My family's in California and we're not close. My friends all took Derek's side because he's so good at playing the victim, I thought. She looked at Ryan. I thought you guys cared about me, turning it on me, making me the villain. Ryan stood up. Naomi, can I talk to you in the kitchen? We went into the kitchen. He closed the door. What is wrong with you? He hissed. What's wrong with me, Ryan? She's taking over our house, our life. She's going through a crisis and you're being cruel. I'm being realistic. She's been here 3 days and she's made zero effort to actually leave. She's wearing my clothes, using my things, sitting between us on our couch. So what? She's comfortable, that's good. It means we're helping her feel safe. I stared at him. Do you hear yourself? What? You care more about her feeling safe than you care about me feeling safe in my own home. That's not. It is, Ryan, and I'm done. She leaves today, or I do. His face hardened. You're giving me an ultimatum? Yes. Fine, then maybe you should go stay with Shanice for a few days until you calm down and stop being paranoid. The room tilted. Excuse me? You're being irrational, hostile. Jessica doesn't deserve this, so maybe you need some space to cool off and get some perspective. You're kicking me out of my own house? I'm suggesting you take a break. For her, for everyone. I couldn't breathe, Ryan. If I walk out that door, then walk out. I'm not going to abandon someone who needs help just because my wife is jealous. Jealous, he called me jealous. I looked at him, really looked at him. And I didn't recognize the man standing in front of me. Fine, I said, I'll pack a bag. I went upstairs, threw some clothes into a suitcase, grabbed my laptop and toiletries. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely zip the bag. When I came back down, Jessica was curled up against Ryan on the couch, her head on his shoulder. His arm was around her. They didn't even look up when I walked past. Like I was already gone, like I'd never been there at all. I got to the front door, opened it. Biscuit whined, tried to follow me. Ryan didn't stop me. I stepped outside. And that's when everything exploded. Biscuit started barking. Loud, aggressive barking I'd never heard from him before. A car screeched into the driveway. A man was getting out. Big guy, mid-30s, face red with rage. The front door behind me didn't ring. It slammed open. Derek. He didn't even look at Ryan first. He looked straight at Jessica, like he'd done this before. Jessica, he roared, pushing past me into the house. What the hell do you think you're doing? Ryan jumped up, pulling Jessica behind him. Who the hell are you? I'm her husband and I'm done with this game. Jessica's face went pale, really pale. The mask was cracking. Derek, you can't be here. Like hell I can't. You told me you were in California visiting your sister. I tracked your phone. You're here, living with this guy. I'm not living with him. I saw the Instagram story. Derek pulled out his phone, shoved it in Ryan's face. Your company's page. Welcome to the team, Jessica. 2 months ago, 2 months, you've been planning this. Ryan looked at the phone, then at Jessica, doubt creeping in. You've been working here for 2 months, he asked quietly. Yes, but you told me you just started. You said we'd only known each other a few weeks. I didn't want to make it weird. Weird? Derek laughed. You want to know what's weird? My wife does this every year. Finds some married guy at work, plays the victim, moves into his house, seduces him, then when I show up to bring her home, she acts like I'm the crazy one. That's not true, Jessica shouted. Then explain, Brad, Derek said. 2019, marketing manager in Phoenix. You moved in for 6 weeks, told me you were helping a friend, then explain Marcus. 2021, sales director in Denver, same story, same playbook. And now HIM, he pointed at Ryan. Same pattern every single time. Ryan was staring at Jessica, really seeing her, the room was spinning. Jessica, Ryan said quietly, she sighed, dropped the act entirely, and what came next? I'll never forget. Fine, she said, stepping away from Ryan. You want the truth? Please, Ryan said. Derek and I have an open marriage, sort of. I like excitement, I like attention, I like the thrill of making men fall for me. He knows this. I go stay with other men sometimes. It's just what I do. What you do? Derek shouted. You told me you were visiting your sister. You said you needed space. Because you get insecure when I'm honest. Insecure. You're living with another man? Ryan was backing away from both of them. Wait, so you're not actually leaving him? Not permanently, Jessica said casually. I mean, we'll see. It depends. Depends on what? Ryan's voice was shaking. She looked at him, smiled, cold and calculating. On whether I find someone worth leaving for. The room went silent. I stood in the doorway, suitcase in hand, watching my husband's face as he realized what he'd done, what he'd almost thrown away. You were going to? He couldn't finish the sentence. Oh, please, Jessica said. You invited me here, you bought me flowers. You kicked your wife out for me. What did you think was going to happen? I was helping you. No, she said. You were being exactly what I needed, a bored, lonely husband who liked the attention of a beautiful woman. Just like Brad, just like Marcus, just like all of them. She grabbed her purse. This was fun while it lasted, she said. But honestly, you were too easy. No challenge. Call me if you ever actually leave your wife. Then maybe we can have some real fun. She walked toward the door, stopped next to me, leaned in close, whispered, He invited me. I just accepted. Then she walked out. Derek stared after her for a moment, then he looked at me. Sorry about your marriage, he said quietly, and he followed his wife out just like that. They were gone, the door closed. Ryan and I stood in the wreckage of our living room. Silence. Naomi, he started. I didn't. You kicked me out, I said quietly, of my own house for her. I thought she needed help. No, I said. You thought she was beautiful and vulnerable and paying attention to you. And you liked it more than you liked being married to me. That's not true, isn't it? You brought her flowers, you let her wear my robe, you defended her over me, you chose her. He couldn't answer, couldn't deny it. I picked up my suitcase. Where are you going? He asked. To Shanice's, like you suggested. Naomi, please, can we talk about this? No, I said, because I just watched you fall for a con artist for 3 days straight. Right in front of me, and I need to figure out if that's something I can forgive. I walked to the door, stopped, turned back. You know what the worst part is? I said. She was right. You invited her. She just accepted. You opened the door. You let her in. You gave her permission to destroy us. I didn't know. You didn't want to know because for 3 days, you got to feel special, wanted, important. And that felt better than being my husband. Naomi, I'm done competing, Ryan. I'm your wife, not an option. I walked out, got in my car, and I left. That was 6 hours ago. I'm at Shanice's now. She made me tea. Let me cry, held me while I fell apart. Ryan's been calling and texting nonstop. I haven't answered. I don't know what happens next. I don't know if our marriage survives this. What I do know is this. My husband brought another woman home, then her husband walked in and exposed the truth. And that's when I realized Ryan didn't lose me that day. He chose to.